Hey, this is Gordon for Inspiration Tests, and today we're gonna create this old barrel in 3ds Max and Substance Painter. I'm very excited for this tutorial, guys, because it is probably one of the best I have ever created because I included everything, all the process in small details, explaining it for someone who has never worked with 3ds Max or Substance Painter even. So please check it out, watch it, all of it, and I'm sure you're gonna get a lot out of it. So without further ado, I'll see you on the other side. So here we are in 3ds Max viewport, so please follow me and I will show you some good tricks. The first thing we will do is actually to go to here to standard geometry and standard primitives, and we'll create a cylinder. It's gonna be about I don't know, maybe 30 centimeters in radius. It will be 30 centimeters. It is. My keyboard is not functioning properly for a reason. Alright, so here we are. F4 from the keyboard to F4 from the keyboard to see the lines all over the cylinder, which we call edge faces mode, and we're gonna reduce the number of high segments to maybe 2 or 3 for a moment. Alright, and we will increase the height a little bit more. We will maybe change the number size to 20 or something. Maybe 24. Alright, 24 it is. So we will go to the front viewport, F from the keyboard. F from the keyboard to go to the front viewport. And we will convert this one here to editable poly. Right click, convert to editable poly. And we'll select everything, all the vertices on top and all the vertices on the bottom, and we will actually go to back to perspective viewport pre from the keyboard, and we will scale actually, as you can see here, scale using this here because we want to scale horizontally. The shape of the barrel, as you can see here, is kind of it's not completely cylindrical, but something in between. So it's maybe this is too much. All right. So what we're gonna do next is actually to select these two edges here. Select them, keep holding Control to keep selecting, and we're gonna loop this selection here. And of course, we will try to chamfer these two loops right there to create something smoother. So we will actually increase this here and add more segments. Maybe more. All right, this is good for now. We'll maybe add 2 over here. Just select these 2 here. I default always to using shortcuts and ultra speed, and this is not gonna work for someone who wants to learn these simple tricks. Okay, so we will probably scale these out just a little bit, or maybe we're gonna leave it as it is. And the next thing we will do is actually to, there are some belts around these. If this is a barrel, then these are, as you can see here, let's just select them. These here, each line over here is gonna represent a piece of wood. So we will try actually to separate these, but for the moment, we will try actually to create something else that is gonna be a precedent to what we will create next. So I will create this right there, and we will chamfer this one right here. Okay, and this one here is gonna be also something we will need. So chamfer. You will understand the purpose of this in a second. And maybe do the same thing here. Maybe we'll just lift this a little bit more. over the face. So we're gonna change the constraint from none to face. So this is gonna allow our loop to slide over the edges and not kind of out of the way that it's already defined for it. So back to non-constraint. Now we can move anything freely without any constraint whatsoever. Okay, what I want to do next is actually important. So I will select this one here, this one, and this one. We'll ring. I will select this one as well, ring, and you will actually keep holding control. Please keep holding control and select polygon to convert edge selection to polygon selection. And now we will deselect these. Keep holding Alt as well to deselect. So there is something that I forgot to deselect, so we're gonna keep holding Alt and deselect all of those. So here, as you can see, this edge here or these polygons here, we're gonna detach them, but as as clones. All right, so it's gonna be detached, but another part of it is gonna be detached, not all of it. So as you can see here, this part here is kind of generated from what we created previously. So we're gonna select. It's hard to select. Okay. So okay, let's see now. It's playing on my nerves now. Please. All right, here it is. So I will duplicate this. So how do I do this? I'll create a mirror for it, but on the z-axis. So let's activate F3 from the keyboard to see what's going on under the surface. We will create a mirror. It's gonna be a copy, of course. Maybe let's make it a copy, and we will do this over the z-axis. Okay. It should be a copy, but we didn't see anything, so let's do it over again. As you can see here, it's there and it's here, but unfortunately there is something weird going on. I don't know what it is, but we will try to figure it out. So the original should be there, but it disappeared for some reason. All right, it's still there actually. So I will give this one here a different color, just to for us to distinguish it from the original body of the barrel. Okay, so I will push it right there where it's supposed to be. Okay, so at the top and the bottom are actually kind of held strongly by these belts. So the next thing we'll do, so we have the freedom to do whatever we want now. So what we will do is pretty simple. We will actually we will detach these two cylinders, detach from the rest of the barrel, and we will do the same thing, pretty much the same thing here. So we will actually detach every strand here individually. So select one line here, ring, keep holding control to convert from edge selection to poly selection, and then we will detach this one here, detach. So it is detached and it is now free on its own. It is an individual piece, and we will do the same thing pretty much for all the rest of the pieces. But if we are smart about it, we will actually figure out a way to do it in a smart way. And the smart way is actually to delete the whole thing and just keep this one here, what we're gonna do is actually gonna depend on our intelligence Excel. So we're gonna do some calculations. We created 24 24 lines, or 24 24 segments that separated the panel. So now we're gonna create 23 other copies for this one here, and it's gonna be the copy is gonna be rotational. So we're gonna use an array. Go to tools and array, and of course the rotation is gonna be over the z-axis, as you can see here, the z-axis, and we will actually create 24 copies, because this tool here is gonna include the original piece as a copy. So let's divide 360 degrees by 24. So 360 degrees by 24 is actually 15 degrees. So we're gonna rotate 15 degrees on the z-axis, and we're gonna generate 24 copies. So let's hit OK and see what's gonna happen. Exactly what we wanted. So here we are, and here we have all the copies that we originally wanted to create. And what we will do next is gonna be important as well. So what we're gonna do now is we will I figure out something that is very important, but we'll see what we can do about it. Alright, so I will select this one here, and the thing is, these need to have some thickness. So as you can see here, I want to create that thickness inward to the inside. And the good thing about using areas is it's going to give us accuracy. We'll be a lot accurate if we use arrays and not using some rotation manually. It's gonna give us great results. So I noticed something here, which is the fact that this probably here need to be pushed out a little bit, probably. Or we'll keep it as it is for the sake of simplicity, because trying to actually perfect with small details is not gonna be good for the overall purposes of this video, which is explaining the fundamentals. Alright, so after we activated the shell right there, I will see after from the keyboard, I will see if this is a good thickness right there, and it probably is. And for now, let's hit F3 from keyboard, and I will try to actually reduce the radius here a little bit. Okay, and I will push this one here down a little bit, because it's actually not exactly on the border, and probably we will actually make it a little bit bigger, scaled up a little bit, because in the inner side it's a little bit the radius is a little bit higher. Let's go to the top viewport T from the keyboard, F3 to see what's going on with wireframe. Alright, go back to perspective P from the keyboard, wireframe F3 from the keyboard, and I will do something that is gonna be interesting. So I think that the number of vertices here is a little bit high, but whatever. So I will isolate one of these, and I would like actually to destroy one of these, because we will just work on one and then we'll copy it later. So let's select these two vertices right there and connect them. Alright, do the same thing here, the same thing here, the same thing there. Alright, keep going. Okay. And probably we're gonna do it for the last time over here. Connect. That's good. And what we'll do next is I will connect these vertices together using the cut tool. Right click cut, or you can go down here to edit geometry, cut. Select one vertex and cut. Select this one vertex and cut. Select this one here and cut. What we're gonna do next is actually we will select this one here and detach it, as we did from as we did for the body of the barrel and all the pieces that we separated and regenerated using the array. Okay, detach. I detach this one as well, and finally this one, because the original it has the last piece has to stay, because, or we can detach it and remove, we'll end up with nothing. This is kind of a paradox. Actually, the last piece is gonna be representing nothing. So what we're gonna do now is actually to give thickness for these pieces as we've done for the other pieces. All right, shell modifier. As you can see here, this is taking place properly. So what we will do now is actually I will select everything here, all the pieces, and we will keep holding shift from the keyboard, keep holding shift, and we will bring it down. Actually, we will make it an instance, of course, because we want to see the same the difference between a copy and instance. An instance actually will respond to the changes that will happen in the original piece. So it's good if we are trying to create something that is going to be similar. So let's select everything and keep holding Alt and deselect. Deselect those, and we will end up with these. So I will, with these belts, I will do the same thing that we've done to alright, so this is not great. Alright, so let's keep deselecting these until we make sure that we ended up only with these circles. Keep holding Alt and deselect. So here we are. So to go back, you just hit Control Z from the keyboard. So here I want to give thickness also to these to these parts as well. So this time we will create a shell not on the inner side but on the outer side, and it's gonna be less obvious. And the thickness of these pieces is gonna be they're gonna be thinner. Of course, the thickness is not gonna be that noticeable. All right, so now to actually see what's going on, now when I remove the edge faces, we're not gonna see anything remarkable, but we'll do something now to make things look remarkable. I will actually convert this one here or isolate it using the isolate selection toggle, or just Alt Q from the keyboard, and I will start doing some serious work. which is creating the supporting edges. But before we do this, I will actually do something that you probably will not like, which is I will actually convert this one to editable poly, and I will remove all the pieces that we created previously, because now the instant effect is gone and we need to actually recreate them quickly as we did previously. So we're gonna create an array. Probably it is the information of the array is already there, which is perfect. Okay, that was quick. So now when I start adding some supporting edges, I will see the results taking place on the other pieces, because when you apply the editable poly, what's going on here? All right, there is something incredibly good going on here, which is the fact that there is an interference between the pieces. So I will isolate this piece here. Luckily, I've been able to see it before things got out of hand, because it's incredibly important to avoid these problems early on. So we will convert this to local, and I will reduce this one here to something like this. Okay, this is great. So now I will select this one here, create a ring, and okay, this is better than it was before. So I will now create what we call supporting edges, and the good thing about supporting edges is that it's going to allow us to actually hold it's going to allow us to, okay, this is not good. I'm not able to see what's going on properly, so I will isolate it, and I will try to do this like this. So select one, ring, and try to push that up there. Try to push that line up there. So I will do the same thing down there. So select all the edges manually, of course, as well, and push this one down there. And the good thing about supporting edges is that they are gonna hold the solid form of this piece even when we apply a turbosmooth. And turbosmooth is actually a smoothing modifier that is extremely important. I cannot work without the turbosmooth modifier. It's highly important. So you can go to this list, hit T from the keyboard, and find turbosmooth. And turbosmooth here is gonna smooth out this piece of wood that you can see here, and we'll isolate the rest of the pieces. And as you can see, the effect that we are aiming for is taking place, because all the pieces are smoothed out and everything looks just fine. We'll do the same thing here for these pieces. F4 from the keyboard to see what's going on. And this one here is going to be a little bit trickier, because we actually have to do this manually on all the pieces. So we will select everything, and we will convert them to editable poly. So we'll do the same trick, but this time we will be we will operate quickly. So we're gonna create two of them, two right there, and we'll try to support the edges like this quickly. And now I'm going to show you another trick in order to do the supporting edges properly and quickly. So the next tool I will show you is we call it the Swift loop. I noticed that I stutter a lot these days. I don't know why, but probably I'm watching too much Elon Musk videos. So and the difficult thing about working with this tool here is the fact that it is sometimes difficult to work with it. Okay, Alt Q in order to isolate This tool is actually Swift, as the title of it says, and as its name indicates. So I will do the same thing here. Isolate, Swift tool. It's very good actually. There is a good trick I would like to use, but which is actually to attach all these pieces together, do the supporting edges, and then separate them. But I will stop the video for a moment, and I will come back when I will finish these in a few minutes. So here I am here we are after I supported the edges of all these wooden pieces, and what we will do next is actually to remove these pieces, because we will now use the copy or the pieces that we created on top, so there is no need to do the work all over again. And actually, to create a sense of realism and randomness right there, I will tilt these pieces a few degrees. Probably that's too much. Right, this is gonna be probably enough. So I will keep holding shift and create an instance, of course. We will bring it back to the bottom, to the rock bottom. We'll bring it all down, all the way down. Okay, so this looks good so far, and we will do this here also, and we will select. Actually, to be honest, I will attach. I want to attach these together, and this is a trick actually I told you about, which is it's good sometimes to have all the pieces attached together when applying smoothing groups. Actually, when applying supporting edges. So apply. Hit ring right there, connect. We'll need to bring them all the way up there. Good. And now we will select one edge of the ring. Okay, but before we do this, we will have to do this from the inner side as well. So the same thing, ring, connect. Good. Now we will, it's very hard actually to select this one here. So we will select the edges over here. It's a little bit difficult, but we will manage to select them. It's not gonna be that hard, but it's a little bit challenging, especially if you actually didn't respect world scale. If you create something very small, then the camera will not allow you to get that close to the edge you want to select. So we will. I cannot see what's going on properly, so I will do viewport clipping all the way down. Oh boy, I lost the selection. Okay. It's so tiny I cannot even see it. So we'll do ring and connect. Two. Actually, we don't even need to increase the pinch value. Probably gonna go with 10, and it's gonna be fine. Oh boy. Alright, so there is a trick I use sometimes, which is to zoom in using a technique that I use, which is hit Z from the keyboard to zoom in to get closer. Z from the keyboard to zoom on the target, whether it be a vertex or a line or an edge or a polygon. For example, if I want the camera to rotate around this, I will hit Z from the keyboard and I will be able to rotate around it completely freely. So now I will apply turbosmooth, and as you can see here, it's good as new. So here you can see that there is a little bit of problem right there. We will be able to solve this if we actually increase the length of, or actually not the length, but actually the thickness of some of these belts right here. But we'll see what we can do now. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not difficult in the sense that we cannot do it, but it's difficult that the fact that I was not expecting this to happen. Probably, let's see, probably we can find another solution. So the problem is only in these two pieces right here. So we will select these two and we'll make them a little bit, just a little bit bigger. Okay, problem solved. That wasn't that hard. Okay, now I believe we are done with the modeling, and we'll try to do now some unwrapping. Alright, now in order to go to the unwrapping process, we need to actually create the low poly version of this barrel. And what we'll do is we will remove all the sporting edges, and of course we will remove the turbosmooth and everything else we created in order to support the edges or just to smooth things out. So to remove the edges, just control backspace, keep holding control and then backspace. We'll do this quickly before we start unwrapping the low poly version. So in a matter of fact, in order to keep both the high poly version and the low poly version, I'm gonna go back for a little bit here. Alright, so I'm going to select everything here. This is the high poly version. I'm gonna go to Tools, Layer Explorer. This is a very important tool for me. I use it a lot in order to keep things organized, and I will create a new layer. So we're gonna call this layer Barrel HP. So this is very important. I remember when I was a newbie, I was telling myself, what the hell this guy is doing? I don't have to do this. This is just annoying, and organization, renaming and stuff. It is just kind of something that is not necessary, but it actually is. When you start reaching the next level, you're gonna understand and appreciate that. So we'll do the same thing here. I will create a copy, or just we'll test if this is gonna work. So I will create a new layer. We'll call it Barrel LP or low poly. So this one here is actually the low poly, and this one is not appearing, which is gonna be the high poly. So there is a problem here, which is the fact that we cannot use two versions of the same object selection. So we're going to create a copy, keep holding shift, and this time is going to be a copy, of course. We're going to go back to the layer explorer. I have two monitors actually, that's why I keep bringing these dialog windows from the other monitor. So with these selected, I will create a new layer. We call it barrel LP, low poly. So this is low poly. We will align it using the align tool here. This is gonna be difficult, but yeah, it worked, and it is aligned perfectly. This is the very thing we want. So I will hide the I actually am gonna hide the high poly version, and we will end up with the low poly version. And this is very important for the process of baking. And even though this is a beginner tutorial, I'm gonna try to show you everything you need to do in order to make professional props for games. So I will actually select these, control backspace, remove them. This is gonna be a long video, I suspect. If you manage to watch this completely and comprehend it fully, then you're gonna have kind of a good understanding of the process with such a simple example that I'm giving you here. I don't believe I've done that before on this channel, so I'll try to pull this off successfully. So I will do the same thing here. So remove the turbosmooth, and control actually Alt Q on the keyboard to isolate. We'll try to remove all these supporting edges. So I'll pause the video actually in order to avoid wasting your time for something repetitive such as this. Alright, now we removed all these supporting edges on this piece here, or on these belts here, and we'll do the same thing here. So we'll actually try to isolate as much of them as we can. It seems like there is a double. There are two of these over here. Oh, this is not good. So let's see if this is also no. Let's go to the layer explorer, and okay, only the low poly. So what is a problem? There are actually two sets of these over here, so I will try to remove one of them for now. Okay, this is the so this is what's supposed to be on the bottom. Somehow it is up there. I don't know how. Okay, now let's test things out. Okay, everything is okay. So now I will actually do the same thing here, which is I will remove the turbosmooth modifier, and I will remove the supporting edges quickly. Keep holding control backspace. Isolate to see better. And of course I will pause the video here once again in order to do the same thing for the rest of the pieces. So here we are after we removed all the supporting edges, and you might be asking yourself, why do we have to go backwards and remove all of the work we have done? Actually, the version that we created previously, which includes supporting edges, we call the high poly, which we're going to use in order to bake the details of it on top of the low poly. Even though this is not extremely necessary, since the details that the high poly contains are not that significant, but For the sake of demonstration, I will show you how to use these techniques and how to unwrap the low poly version. So this is the low poly version. We'll start unwrapping it. And to do this, we will go to modifier list, and search for UV unwrap UVW, and we will work with one of these, and of course we will copy what we have done here to the rest of the pieces. So simply I will select one of these. I will expand polygon selection. I hope this is going to be the same for the newer versions of 3ds Max. And we're gonna open the UV editor. I think it's gonna be a little bit different, but the principles are gonna be the same because I don't believe that they're gonna make such incredible changes when it comes to something fundamental. Okay, so now sorry for that, I didn't explain myself here. I'm gonna go to mapping, normal mapping, and I'm gonna choose box mapping and just hit OK. I will remove this texture. I will rescale the elements. You can just follow my instructions and listen to what I'm saying, even when the icons or the arrangement of these icons and tools are not going to be different, are not going to be the same for your version. So rescale elements and pack. We're going to pack them inside the this area here. And as you can see here, believe it or not, this is super cool because everything just fell into place. Okay, I just want to double click these lines here, and I will straighten them a little bit because they need to be straight sometimes, not all the times. Not all the time we need to do this, because sometimes we better leave them as they are. So now we'll do this on the vertical side, vertically. Okay, and now what we need to do is actually we need to bring them closer, and we need to actually do the same thing here. We're gonna bring them closer to each other, and I believe this one here also should be straight like this. These are gonna be the same, or if we leave them as they are, it's gonna be fine as well. It's not gonna be a big of a deal. So we will push them out of the box. For instance, we'll push them out of the box, as you can see here, and I will try to create a place for them over here. And it is very important to realize that since we're gonna create a lot of copies of this piece here, we're gonna have to do some work later on. It's not gonna be too much, but it's gonna be some work. And now I'm going to actually open the material editor, and I'm gonna actually bring a checker texture in order to see the result of our unwrapping. So I will load a checker texture. Alright, I just loaded the checker texture, and we'll drop it over there and assign material to selection, and then show edit map in. Oh no, this is ridiculous. I actually accidentally applied it to the wrong element. So I will redo things. Okay, this is okay, I will apply it right there. Alright, there is something wrong here because these should not actually be. Alright, I see why, because this one here is actually applied to the same So I will actually apply this back to this, and this one should be applied to this. Yes, but there is a problem. We will increase the tiling to something like 50. Okay, now as you can see here, the tiling is changed, and we can see the effect of the checker texture taking place. I will increase it even further to 70 by 70 because the checker texture is quite big, and the effects are not going to be seen until we increase the number of repetitions, which we call tiling. Okay, what I'm gonna do next is actually I am gonna see whether so as you can see here, since these are instances or similar copies, the UV unwrap modifier is gonna be applied automatically. So when we apply the checkers texture, we're gonna see that all these pieces are automatically unwrapped. So I will do unwrap this piece right now. I will apply the UV unwrap modifier. I will select this one here, expand selection. I'm gonna open the UV editor. We're gonna go to mapping, normal mapping. I'm gonna go to box mapping. Okay, expand this one here, and I will do the trick, and I will use the quick peel here to make sure that everything is peeled properly. Okay, now, alright, I see, we forgot to actually remove this for some stupid reason. Anyways, it's not gonna be big of a deal. We're gonna do this quickly. I will check if we forgot some of these accidentally. We didn't, so let's do this quickly. Once again, open the UV editor, quick mapping, normal mapping, box mapping, go both. Here we are. That was quick. Okay. I actually I tend to work very quickly when it comes to unwrapping because it is something highly repetitive, and I do it for almost 1 to 2 to 3 hours in every for every prop, depending on its complexity. In this case, it's not gonna be complex at all. It's gonna be pretty simple. So here it's so the size of the checker texture indicates the whether the size of the unwrapping is okay or not. So we're gonna compare the size of the checker texture here to the one that we created previously. Even though this comparison is not gonna be highly accurate, but it is necessary. Okay, we've done that for this piece, and we'll do the same for these few pieces. So we're gonna apply UV unwrap. Alright, open the UV editor, box mapping, normal mapping. Right, and okay, it's not big of a deal. Alright, I forgot a lot of these, unfortunately, even though it seems like they don't exist, but they do exist. I don't know how I'm not able to see them. It's weird, even though I'm sure that I removed them. But anyways, trying to actually figuring them out now is better than never. Better late than never, as they say. Okay, we're gonna scale this down a little bit, and we're gonna apply this checker texture to see, and it seems like this is a lot bigger than it should be. Let's compare a little bit. That's okay. Right, so we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna do this quickly now because we know the concept behind it. Okay. It's gonna be smaller. It's gonna be smaller. Alright, perfect. We got it right from this first attempt. It's great. So now, what is noticeable, what we're gonna notice once start doing unwrapping is that it is highly repetitive. You are gonna do the same things over and 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 over again until you're gonna lose your mind and gonna start thinking about quitting. I'm just kidding. It's a fun process, especially when we reach the part when we will try to pack the UVs all together. It is the most exciting part. It's like a puzzle for me. I like it. Okay, now we're gonna do this one here. Mapping, normal mapping, and box mapping. Okay. We're gonna apply the checker texture right there. It's still too big, or maybe it's too small. Okay, now we can see that these pieces here are already unwrapped because these are just copies, and boom, it worked properly. And if we go down there, you're gonna see that the same thing is true. So we're not gonna waste a lot of time trying to unwrap these from scratch. So here we go, and we are left with these belts over here, and it's not gonna be that hard to unwrap, trust me. So we will actually apply the UV unwrap to it. We're gonna select one of these, but here is the interesting thing. It is better actually to detach these two halves. So in order to avoid doing too much work, I will detach this one here, and we will unwrap this one on top, and we will copy the work. So we're gonna open the UV editor, and of course we're gonna go do box mapping, even though it's counterintuitive. Alright, so I will push these out of the way, and yeah, so I will do something new here, which is to select this edge here, right click, and stitch search with me, stitch selected. And you can do this also as well from the keyboard. Keep holding shift S from the keyboard, shift S, shift S, shift S, shift S. Okay, now alright, now we will actually as you can see here, quick peel. With that quick peel, it allowed us to make things look interesting. We're gonna do a quick peel as well here. Okay. Alright, it looks like a smiley face, isn't it? It's hard to select, but what the hell? The smiley face loves you. Alright, so we're gonna do the same thing here. It's gonna be it's gonna be the same thing. Same process. So I'm probably gonna pause the video after this one because it's repetitive. And the interesting part is gonna be packing the UVs. I love it. Alright, so let's peel these and try to stretch them or whatever. And of course it's a better idea to, of course it's hard to select. We're gonna put the circles alone and together, and these belts together. All right, now actually we unwrapped the rest of the two pieces, and now it is I'm trying to arrange these pieces. It's a little bit hard to select these, but it should be no problem. It shouldn't be a big of a deal. Okay. Alright. So now I will apply the checkers texture to these to see if this is what we should be doing. It seems like it is a little bit big or something. I'm gonna bring it down even more. I believe this is fine. Alright, this is gonna be fine. So what we will do next is actually to pack all these pieces together, and we will attach them together, and then we will start the packing process. So I will copy the unwrap here in order to get the same results, which is not taking place. So another trick we can do is actually to use this here and copy it, literally copy it as an instance or as a copy, it doesn't matter, and we will mirror it on the z-axis. Where is it? And we will try to push it exactly, and this is extremely important. It has to be exactly on top of the piece we're gonna replace, because we have to, because I told you so. I like that moment in movies and stuff when someone asks why do I have to do this, and he tells him because I told you so. In this case, I'm telling you because I love you, not because I'm trying to practice some authority over you. Because here we are sharing some knowledge, and we are learning, and we are learning, and we are kind of teaching each other. Basically, I'm not here to teach you alone. You are teaching me a lot of stuff as well. So here we are, and the next thing is actually packing these UVs together. Alright, now we're going to unwrap this barrel here. So what we're going to do is actually pretty obvious. which is that we're gonna attach all these. Of course, we're going to convert everything to edible poly first. Convert to edible poly, and we're gonna select one of these, and we're gonna go to attach, and we're gonna make sure that to avoid attaching the high poly version to this one here, we're gonna just try to do it manually. So we're gonna attach all the pieces together. Alright, so we're gonna attach these pieces too. Let's go to the top. And these pieces as well. So now when we open the or when we apply the UV unwrap modifier, and when we open the UV editor, we're gonna see only the pieces that we created here previously. And to be honest, this is just about 20% of all the pieces that we are gonna actually deal with. So what is the thing that we're gonna do next? Well, what we're gonna do now is actually we're going to actually separate all these pieces because they are on top of each other. So we're gonna keep holding shift to move them in a straight line. And there are a lot of these pieces, trust me. They are so many. And now probably I'm going to bring this over here. Usually I don't work with a lot of repetitive pieces, but in this specific case there are a lot of them, and there is nothing we can do about it. We just have to do this. And we cannot keep them on top of each other because it's gonna look fake, because the texture is gonna be highly repetitive, and this is not something we want. It seems like they are never gonna end. This is scary. I don't know when we're gonna pull the last one. Alright, that was the last one. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Alright. There are gonna be tons of pieces. All right, now I actually stopped the video and pushed every last piece out of the. They were all on top of each other. So now we're gonna do the same thing here. This is gonna be similar. We can actually keep this one here because it's not gonna be seen in the first place. But it's always good to get them out of the way. So here we are. We completed the body of the barrel, and now we're gonna do the same thing to the pieces that we can see here. It's gonna be the same repetitive process. So we will try to actually to arrange these pieces in a way that is gonna be less painful. So keep holding shift in order to keep the movement straight, because we want to move in straight lines. Alright, that was surprisingly quick, because the pieces, every piece is actually repeated only 4 times. Alright, we will try to copy these quickly because in fact it's not that big of a deal. We're not copying actually. I'm just actually preventing these pieces from staying on top of each other. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing here. This is highly repetitive, but it is okay since if you are learning something here and if you are increasing your level of experience, then it's okay on my side. I wish I had someone as early as I was learning actually explained everything in detail and invested his time. I'm thinking about actually creating complete courses in which I explain everything in detail, because I believe this is the thing that is gonna generate the best result for you guys. The most important results are gonna come from actually something that is organized, something that is aimed at beginners who don't know a lot. So in these videos I'm gonna create, probably if I'm gonna create them, they're gonna be simple. I'm gonna go to great length and detail, and it's gonna be entertaining and educational in the same time, because we have all the time. In a course, I am not limited by a certain amount of hours. For example, on YouTube, I'm trying to restrict myself to keep it under 2 hours, even though I can easily go to 4 hours or something. It's not that hard for me, but who the hell is gonna watch a 4 hours video? It's just not possible. especially if it is educational. If it is I don't know, maybe the latest episode of maybe these shows like the um, these conspiracy videos. It's like a documentary. It's a movie, like 1.5 hours. It's so freaking long, and people probably watch it till the end. This guy Sean, who's creating these um, long 2 hours videos, probably are gonna be watched completely. But when it comes to education, I doubt that. And the data, I have the data actually. The average watch time for my videos, the average watch time for a 1.5 hours video is under 5 minutes, which says a lot about the patience of people who are trying to learn. Some people watch, some people don't. And some people try to learn, and some people are just kind of intruders to this art, just trying to. They're kind of dabbling, not intruders, kind of. They're kind of trying their luck. They think it's super easy, and it's very kind of. It's easy in a way. If you love it, it's easy. But if you don't love it, it's not easy. You need to be passionate about this stuff. Otherwise, it's gonna be a lot more difficult than you anticipated in the first place. And you need to give yourself time as well, because if you don't give yourself time, then it's gonna be more difficult. Okay, this is interesting. So now what we're gonna do now is actually I am trying to push everything inside this 1 by 1 rectangle. So let's try to push everything out for now. And I will make things smaller because it seems like they are not going to be able to fit inside. Let's go first. It's so hard to select these pieces here. I will try to push these inside. I will check something first. No. So this is actually it's actually important to keep these. It's important to keep them close to each other. So what I'm gonna do now, quickly, I am going to bring these alright, so that's great. So I want these to be close to each other, so I'm gonna arrange these in a line and these in another line. Those are gonna be inside, so they don't really matter to me. But these outer edge, they are gonna be on the outer edge and on the outer surface, so it's important that they're gonna be close to each other. So quickly I'm going to push them closer to each other. Oh shit, I cannot see anything. Alright, now. That's good. It's gonna be a little bit intimidating. This is actually something. I will try to push them close to each other quickly. And this is actually not something that you have to worry about for now. Because you're gonna get the results if you are determined and you follow my steps. This is just an extra thing in order to make sure that the outer surface and all the pieces are gonna work properly if I want to go further and work in this project later on. So here we are. I actually organized these quickly, and here we are. So even though these are not extremely organized, but we can actually work with that. And we'll try to push these somewhere here, around here as well. Let's see if these are gonna go well over here. They're gonna be so we're gonna have actually to rotate these 90 degrees or something. Activate the angle snap toggle. Okay. So the other thing we need to take care of is actually these circles. We need, of course, we need to push these smaller ones inside the bigger ones because it's obvious. Actually, the circular shape is very hard to when it comes to kind of stocking it together. That's why containers are not round. That's why books are not round. Actually, everything that you want to stock and actually put in a lot of quantities together, it better not be it better not have the circular shape because it leaves a lot of dead space. It's very hard to select this because it's so thin. Foot. Alright, we selected it. Oh shoot. I have to zoom all the way in to get it. Oh, that was hard. That was difficult. Come on. It's like I'm dragging it from very far place. Oh, there is gonna be, it's gonna be a little bit challenging here because I think we will scale in the whole thing to generate more space. not having fun with this. I hope it's gonna. Oh, let's do this. All right. So what we're gonna do, push these away. We don't want any interference. Even though this does not look so great, but we'll try to pack these over here. Okay, we'll actually push these up there. And we don't have to be perfect with it, because simply because this is just a video in which I explain I think I explain the basics, and I think this is a little bit too much for you if you haven't worked with UVs before, because this is gonna make you think it is a little bit difficult probably. And if you think it is not that hard, then good for you, because it's not. So for now, this is what we ended up with. Even though there is a little bit of extra that space, we'll be actually we'll consider this a temporary success, and the next step is going to be actually baking. So we'll stop for now, and we'll not stop actually. I am going to take a small break, and I will be back soon. So now, after we did the unwrapping and pack the UVs, it is time to actually rename and rename the low poly and high poly in order to do the baking. So this is the low poly. Let's just rename it to barrel LP, which means low poly. And I'm gonna go to tools. You can just open it from here. You can open it, use the toggle layer explorer, or you can do it from here. Two different ways for the same result. And now this is the high poly, and as you can see here, we're gonna change the names of all the pieces. So this piece of wood here, it is actually called stave. So we're gonna call this stave 01 HP. And we're gonna start copying. I will hide the low poly, for instance. So this is number 1. This is gonna be number 2. This is gonna be number 3. This is number 4. Number 5, and so on, until we complete a full cycle. So we're gonna go around them. We're gonna rename everything. That was 5. This is gonna be 5. Stave number 5. This is gonna be number 6. 7 until we reach the end. So I'm gonna stop the video right now until I actually go around them all. So here we are after I named all the 24 pieces, and I accidentally actually named pieces number 5 and 6. Also, I kind of made a mistake and named them number 4, but it shouldn't be that big of a problem. You can name them whatever you want. It doesn't have to be you don't have to be that accurate actually, because you're gonna change it later if this is gonna be necessary. Okay, what we're gonna do next is actually we're gonna name these are actually called hoops. This is gonna be for the high poly, and the low poly we're gonna take care of it later. And these one here we're gonna call them vertical or horizontal. HOR stave. This is gonna be 01 underscore HP. So we're gonna copy this one here. Oh shoot, I made a mistake probably because let's open the layer explorer. Alright, it is hidden. Okay, now we are working the high poly alone. So this should not actually have that texture because it's not unwrapped. So here we are once again. So we're gonna copy this one here quickly. So we'll paste it over here. This is gonna be number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, 7, just make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is gonna be number 8. Number 9. And lastly, this is gonna be number 10. And the same thing is gonna actually take place over here. We're gonna name this number 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, this is gonna be 17, 18, this is gonna be 19, and this is gonna be 20. And to be honest, this HP you're gonna use whatever you want. This is the suffix, whether you use high poly or just HP or high or just low. it doesn't matter, but you're gonna make sure that you're gonna use the same suffix no matter what, because it's everything depends on it. It's extremely vital. Okay, so I believe everything here was named properly. So let's bring this list here. Let's see if there are some objects that seem that they are not actually okay. Other than so, let's open the layer explorer and hide the low poly. So what is it that we are seeing here? Okay. Oh, nice. This is something I didn't expect to see. So, to be honest, we have to convert this one to edible poly, and we're gonna attach this back because it is imperative that we do this. I accidentally forgot to add these, so now I'm gonna open the UV editor quickly to fix this problem. There is actually more than enough space to fit these somewhere. Actually, we need to push these aside. Alright, so we will try to push these somewhere. It's not gonna be a big of a deal. There is a lot of room here. Here they go. So now we are ready to rename some of the major pieces in the low poly, but first we gotta have to realign it. We're gonna choose one of these as target for the alignment. Okay, this should do it. We are fine with this. So to be honest, there is some work to do here, even though it's not gonna be big of a deal, but it's gonna take us few minutes. So we're gonna copy this, but instead of naming it, I must admit this is gonna be a little bit challenging, cause we're gonna have to know exactly where this is gonna be. So we're gonna start with number 1. So this is number 1. Alright, so we have to remember that this is number 1. that is facing us. Okay, so I have to now detach this one. I'm gonna call it stave number 1, but this time it's gonna be low poly, not high poly. So this is LP. So, oh dear. All right. So that was number 1. This will be number 2, LP. This one here is gonna be number 3. We better not make a mistake because it's gonna be deadly. We have to double check. This is gonna be number 4, low poly. This is, I made a mistake here, so I remember that this is gonna be 23. No poly. This is 24. Oh shoot. This is gonna be 24 low poly. This is here gonna be 5. No poly. This is gonna be 6. And now I'm gonna pause the video until I complete a full circle. So now we named all the staves of the low poly. So we're gonna do a quick, real quick check. Bring it from the same monitor quickly. So these are staves 1, high poly, low poly, 2, high poly, high poly. So where is stave number 2, low poly? Good question. I believe this is it. So this is number 3. This is, oh, nice. This is interesting. Number 4. Number 4, number 4. Number 3 and number 3. So here I forgot actually to change. Actually, okay, let's check again. So where is it? 3. All right. High poly 3, low poly 3, low poly 3. It is 2 times. How is this even possible? So this is a mistake here. It is 2 times. So this should be number 2 actually. Let's check again. 1, 2, low poly 1, high poly, low poly. Alright, 5, high poly. Alright, so there is a mistake here twice. In the low poly, this should be low poly, not high poly. Again, this one here and this one. This should be LP. And the 8th as well. This should be low poly as well. Number 8. We're gonna run another quick check. Where are these 2? Good question. I can't see anything, so we're gonna delete those for now. um let's see, 17, 17, 18, 18. We're good to go now. But uh we're going to we're going now to do the same thing for the horizontals. What do they call them again? Stave. Alright, for the horizontal staves, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to copy this one here, and I'm going to assume that I'm going to go from 1 to 10 and 11 to 20. So let's go. Detach. So this is going to be 1. Low poly. Okay, got it. This is going to be number 2. Low poly. This is going to be number 3. Alright, 3. Low poly. Tell me his name again. When I told you what is it they call them, I remembered from the Infinity War when Tony Stark asked who plays the character of the Hulk, that doctor asked him, tell me his name again. It's a legendary moment. Tell me his name again. I love it, that moment. It's amazing. Thanos, his name. Infinity War 5 Endgame is gonna be earth-shattering. So now I'm trying to actually do a quick check. Alright, so this should be low poly, but not. Alright, ooh, so this must be number 4. Tell me his name again. Dr. Bruce Banner. Now I remember the name. They actually fired him from the it was hilarious and embarrassing at the same time. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. He kept talking about the movie, and he leaked too much spoilers. Bruce Banner. He was the perfect match with that character, indeed. LP number 7. Number 8. Oh dear. This is a problem. I don't remember if actually let's actually renamed it twice. You need actually to pay extra attention when doing this, to be honest. Oh, that's interesting. I need to name it 0, 5, 0, 6, 0 until 0. I don't know. 0 is something that I should not neglect. Just when I was adding renaming it, I was kind of doing it automatically. I was not really thinking about it until just ask myself, is it 0, 7 or just 7? And this difference, believe it or not, this minor difference that you don't actually pay attention to can actually break the process of baking that we're gonna do later. It is extremely important, and I thought that it's okay if you it's not okay if you forget, for example, to I don't know, maybe forget, for example, a letter, but or change a letter or change a number, but it is even capital letters and lowercase letters and stuff. It's very important. If you mistake lowercase for an uppercase, then it's not gonna work. You have to get it exactly right. It has to be a perfect match. There's no way around it. No mistakes, not even one. I think this is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 16 must be. Tell me his name again. It's gonna be legendary. In game. I believe that even though, let me go of the subject here and talk about the character of Thanos. He's, even though he seems he's playing the role of an evil person, somehow I feel like he's a good guy. He's not that evil. Even though he is killing people and wiping half of the universe, I don't think in the bottom of his heart is that bad, because to be honest, believe it or not, even bad guys think they are good guys because they are served from their perspective. They believe that they are doing and good and sacrificing for the greater good. So let's check for the last time if we okay, the hoops. Let's search for the hoops of the low poly. Alright, so we're gonna detach this. No hoops. This is gonna be low poly. So I'm gonna make sure I'm not making some mistakes, so I'm gonna copy it just to avoid mistakes. Alright, let's check for last time. So the barrel low poly, so let's see. Okay, this is a good indicator that we have done everything. So hoops, high poly, low poly, horizontal saves, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I think we're good to go. I think we're ready. So after we renamed everything, that was about a half an hour. Now it is time to export the models. So what we're gonna do now, tell me what. I'm gonna tell you what. We're gonna use this layer here, and we're going to double click to select the high poly, and we are going to export selected, and I'm gonna stop the video because I don't know where I'm gonna save it. Probably it's gonna take some time. So here I'm gonna change so I'm going to actually open a new we're gonna save it somewhere else. For example, we're gonna save it just here. So I am going to name this let's just say um, what is the name of the project we're working on? Barrel LP or high poly HP. Okay, export. Done. Now we're gonna select the other barrel, the low poly barrel, and oh, and something is going wrong here. We're going to export this one as well. This time it's gonna be the same. So barrel this time is gonna be low poly LP. All right, go. Done. Okay, we are done with the modeling. We are done with the with UV unwrapping, packing, naming, and exporting. Now it is time to do some baking, and 3ds Max is starting to do some crazy shit right now. I don't know what's going on, but I will see you in Substance Painter, where we're gonna do some texturing and baking. Alright, one last thing before we do bake the barrel, I forgot to actually mention, which is it is also extremely important, which is a smoothing group. So we're gonna hide the high poly version, and I'm gonna apply another material to my low poly version. Probably we're gonna keep it that way. Select everything. And the thing is, I'm gonna create something like this is the those are the types of things. I remember when I was new to these things, I would tell myself, what the hell is he doing? Is this really necessary? And it is, of course it is, cause it's important. Everything, I don't do things that are not necessary. Period. In terms of course, in terms of creating something that is going to be functional. So the thing is, now I'm going to add smoothing groups, because let's just isolate this piece here, because this is a low poly version, and originally, if it doesn't have any smoothing modifier, is gonna look like it is broken to pieces. Where the edge is gonna be breaking, it's gonna look like it is broken. So we're gonna make sure that the smoothing groups are created. So as you can see here, let's check this. So as you can see here, this surface here has the same smoothing group. This one here on the side has the same smoothing group on the side as well, and this has also 3. So naturally this piece here has been actually prepared, and it has the right smoothing groups. But if it doesn't, then we're gonna clear everything and we're gonna auto smooth it, and this should give us the same result. So to make sure that the smoothing groups are functioning properly, we're gonna take a look over here, and what we're gonna see is that it is. And if we're gonna take another piece, we're gonna find that it is also functioning properly, because they are copies of each other, they are instances. So what about these here? I think they are doing great. So finally, these hoops. I think these hoops as well are actually functioning properly, and the smoothing groups are just correct. So there is no reason actually to be worried about anything. We are good to go. So here we are now in Substance Painter, and we're gonna go to File, and from now on we're gonna do the bacon and texturing, which are the last stages. So we're gonna create a new file, and I'm gonna open the the low poly barrel that we exported from 3ds Max. So I found my low poly version of the barrel, and I'm gonna check this. The document resolution is gonna be 2K, and I'm gonna hit OK. So this is the low poly version of my barrel. Now I am going to bake the high poly on top of the low poly. So now all the hard work we did previously, which is the unwrapping and the naming, which took a little bit longer because there are too many pieces, and actually making sure that everything is on top of each other, and the smoothing groups and all the things we did previously is gonna be rewarded here if we continue doing things the right way. So we're gonna bake first the normal map and the ambient occlusion, and these are, in my opinion, these are the most important. And now we are going to import import the high poly version of the low poly of the barrel, not the low poly, which that must have sounded stupid. Alright, I found my high poly version of the barrel. Now we're gonna keep everything as it is except this one here, which is by mesh name, and anti-aliasing we're gonna change later. But the thing that we need to worry about right now is actually the suffixes. So for the high poly suffixes, we used HP, and for the low poly, we used LP. This is extremely important. If you get this one wrong, then the bacon is not gonna work. This is the thing that I struggled with first when I started using Substance Painter. I didn't know that you need to get it exactly. You cannot make mistakes, otherwise the bacon is not gonna work. So for now I'm gonna keep everything as it is. I'm gonna do a bacon test and we will see. Alright, now the bacon is done. It seems that let's just take a look. But before we take a look, there is something here that we need to make sure is working properly. We're gonna change the normal mixing to combine, and oh boy, it is looking nice. I love it so far. And now we're gonna bake the other maps. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna open the bacon dialog, and we're going to select the workspace map, the ID, and we're gonna select the curvature, position, and thickness. And of course we're gonna change something here in the ID. We're gonna shift this one, the color generator, from hue shift to random. This is extremely important. You can leave everything as it is except this one here. You have to change it to random, and then bake quickly. Alright, here we are after baking the rest of the maps. If this doesn't seem necessary to you, I must tell you that it is, because over time you're gonna realize that these things are important, and everything is gonna fall in its in the right place. So now let's test what we have created. We will look for a good wood material. Alright, now we're gonna add the wood texture. So I actually have something here that you probably don't have. if you haven't added some of the materials. So the one I'm gonna use is actually called the wood medieval, and I'm gonna give you a link to it and remind me if I don't. So where is it? Wood medieval here. We're gonna drop it. This is a really cool smart material, and for the sake of simplicity and doing things faster, we better use something that is actually that is gonna avoid wasting our time. So this is what we've got for now. It seems okay to me for the moment, even though it seems like the resolution of it's not too high or something, but nevertheless. Alright, so now we will add some rust to these hoops, and they are completely rusty, so we're gonna try to drop let's say, where is the rust material? Let's look it up in materials. Alright, so here it is. Fine rust. Okay, that was a mistake. We should drop it outside of the wood material. Okay, as you can see here, we're gonna have to apply a mask here. So right click, add black mask, and you're gonna go here to polygon fill, and now you're gonna select this element here by mesh fill, and this is actually selecting by element if we are referring to 3ds Max standards. And we're gonna select these hoops, and unfortunately it is selecting everything for an unknown reason. Okay, let's try to select only the parts we need. No, this must be a mistake. Here as well there is so now we are gonna change from element or mesh selecting to polygon selection. So we're gonna have to do this manually now. And this is extremely simple if we compare to what Substance Painter can do. So this is an entry-level type of texture. It is straightforward, it is simple, and it is not fancy in any way. It's just drop, select, and add some quick masks here and there. And this is pretty much what I do in my Substance Painter tutorials. Okay, I think this is good for the moment. So if we look at it, it seems like it is good enough for the moment, but there are some few things we want to add. For example, we could have added another, for example, steel material, and then we could have just dropped the rust on top of it, and this could have just worked fine. Alright, it seems like we need to actually use a smart material for this one. So let's look for a smart material of steel, or let's go with this one. So I think now we are going to apply the same thing we've done on this material. So we're gonna add a black mask, and we're going to actually do the same thing that we've done for the rust texture. So this is what we've got for now, and now we will add the rust texture on top, or just inside this smart material. We're gonna drop it in there, and now we will add a black mask to the rust material, and of course we're gonna add the generator. And this generator is gonna be the dirt generator, because we want the rust to be all over the place. Okay, that's good. And I want to increase the intensity of the rust, because right now it seems like it is not that much. And to be honest, Substance Painter is a little bit demanding when it comes to the hardware. So you need to have a solid graphic card and a good processing unit. In overall, you need solid processor and a lot of RAM and stuff, because otherwise it's not gonna function as quick as you want it to be. So now after we've done that, now it's time to add some text. We can do this in Substance Painter, or we can head over to Photoshop and add some text. But before we do this, I'm going actually to show you how to export your textures out of Substance Painter. And I think that this tutorial is taking too long so far, and I think this is gonna be sufficient for now, and I will show you how to export your textures. So you're gonna right click, export textures, and you're gonna select the destination here. Just choose a destination. For example, I'm gonna keep it as it is, Substance Painter export, or just change the name, create another folder if you want to. And now it's time to export. Just export the hit export, and it will do the work. And it's going to actually export all the maps that you've baked, all the textures. You don't have to think about it too much. Substance Painter will do that for you. Okay, now we've done the exporting of the textures, and you're gonna find the textures in your folder, and you're gonna apply them to your low poly version of the barrel. And I don't want this tutorial to be super long, so if you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you're new, and maybe share this video so other people can learn from it. I hope that was a good experience, and I will see you in the next one.